Happening, everybody? TK here, TK and Drinks, and we got another What's the Story interview coming at you today. And today's What's the Story is brought to us by Steamworks Meadery out of Medford, Oregon. My man Peter Paulsen hitting up the one-man operation. From everything I can see online, seems like he's the only one doing he's the one in all the pictures anyway, so it seems like he's pretty much a one-man operation there in Oregon. Pretty much the only meter I can see between, like, so northern central California and, like, Portland. So he's pretty much got this area on lockdown. There might be one or two other ones I'm not seeing on there. I mean, there's always new meaderies popping up, and I'm certainly by no means a lexicon to all things mead, but I do try a little bit. So when he pops up on here in a little bit, we'll ask him about how he's doing out there and see how things are going over in the mead world in Oregon. So nobody's popped on live yet, so I'm starting to be a little bit curious as to what's going on. It's now 6 o'clock. I wonder if I have internet connectivity problems. No, looks like we got internet. We are good to go. So looks like, somebody did show up on there. My man Carlos over there, Texas Longhouse Mead. Thank you for joining in, saving the day, making me curious, or stopping me from being curious if his live video was even going out. So, as I was saying, today we're going to be talking with Peter from Steamworks Meadery there in Medford, Oregon. And Peter is a stylistic guy. He likes to do everything in the more traditional, or what I guess people would call traditional. I don't know what the technical term for it is. Old. I think I've seen OTS other than standard or something, but it's on the drier side. He's got this like kind of cool Viking themed, all this stuff, almost like a Viking themed steampunk type of setup he's got going there. But we'll ask him about that when he gets on here. So I got 4 fantastic mead flavors I picked up from him. Let's start going over those right now real quick while we're waiting for him to join on. If I can grab this and not look at knock everything over. So I picked up 4 bottles from him a couple weeks ago. They've been sitting here chilling, ready for the show. The first one I picked up was his Refreshing Session. So this one is it's got the little thing on the other side. Lemon, lime, and a touch of carbonation makes for a delightful, crisp wildflower mead for those who prefer a lighter refreshment without sacrificing the flavor. Made with natural fruit flavors. He does the no sulfites or anything like that, and I think he said may contain naturally occurring sulfites, no added sulfites, and he does down to like a 0.5 micron filter, I believe. We've got the little sweetness scale on there, so it's like right there in the middle. So this is gonna be semi-sweet, and I'm excited to try this one. I always like trying like the carbonated ones, because it's the ones I have the least access to around here. So I'm always down to try these ones. It sounds delicious. And what else we got here? Phoenix Rising. So this is a pomegranate mead, if memory serves. So a clover and orange blossom honey blend gives it a semi-sweet palate at its base, while pomegranate and tart cherries incite a robust, fruity flavor. That sounds absolutely wonderful. So this one says best served chilled, so they just pulled them out of the cooler about 5 minutes ago. This one does not have a sweetness scale on there, but it is 10%. The other one I didn't see where it said what the alcohol percentage was, but pomegranate, cherry, definitely looking forward to trying that one too. Love like them palm drinks everybody sells at the store with a little weird shaped bubble bottle thing. Yeah, those things are legit. Alright, Steamworks Meaderies. Boom boom boom. Blackberry. Blackberry, we got a wildflower mellow mel with cold pressed blackberries added sorry. A wildflower mellow mel with cold pressed blackberries added gives this drink a full body taste. With the blackberries added near the end of production, it keeps the delicate profile of the fruit, as well as keeping it semi-sweet. So, definitely looking forward to trying this one. So it's not super thick and, like ridiculous fruit like some of those other ones, but I imagine it's going to have still like a nice true blackberry type of flavor and characteristic to it. So excited to try that one. And then the last one I picked up is his Svas mead. Svas. And that is a Svas is a sweet clover honey and orange blossom honey wine, a drink to enjoy after a hearty meal or on a nice sunny afternoon. Traditional style will bring out the Viking in all of us. Now this one comes with this cool little bottle of edible glitter that I had the audacity to spill about half of. It wasn't full to the top or anything. It was about halfway full. So I spilled probably about 50-60% of it, unfortunately, because this little cork thing just pops right off of there. And I bumped it while it was sitting there, and it was a thing. It was my own fault. But so add that to the Svas, swirl that around, gives it this cool like. And so we'll give that a shot once he pops up on here. I'm going to go ahead and head over to Instagram on my laptop right here and see if we can't send him a message real quick. And stick in Chrome. See if we can't get this thing started and going and popping off. Oh. Come on in. So there, send him a message. He might be waiting for me to message him because I did ask him for me to send him an invite. So that's probably what he's waiting for. So hopefully he'll pop in real quick. He's been real cool, real communicative, and everything like that. So, video chat, join. All right, hopefully this is still going. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out. Go into my live. He's not. He's trying to call me on like the Instagram call thing. Can you join my live video feed from the story timeline? So we'll see what goes on from there. Oh, there we go. As I'm typing it, it's happening. Thank you very much. I'll get you that request here right quick, like. To Steamworks Meadery. Pop that down. And there we go. Excellent.
How's it going?
Hey, there we go. Once we got it figured out, it connected fairly easily. Like that. Awesome. So thank you very much for being here today, Brother Peter. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So we were just getting ready to talk about the different mead flavors, and we were going over the ones I purchased and everything. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, and then we'll start straight into the mead flavors.
Yeah, my name is Peter Paulsen. I am the owner of Steamworks Meadery, located in Southern Oregon. And we've been operating since 2019, and I'm excited to answer any of the questions you may have. So.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. So one of the things that I did when I was looking through meaderies when I first started my journey, I was going region by region, and the first thing I noticed is you're one of the only meaderies in your region. You're in the Medford area, if not their proper. You don't have a lot of meadery competition in the area, do you?
Nope. I think the next closest physical building is like Roseburg, so that's about an hour and a half away. So.
Oh, but there's actually a meadery in Roseburg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's very cool. I didn't even see them on my map. So you got some people that's kind of within a little bit of distance.
Yep.
Very cool. So let's get straight into these flavors. Actually, start with the one right here in front of me. So I was reading over your flavor profiles, and you do a much more, I'm not sure what the term is for. Is it like a traditional style? You go on the drier or semi-sweet side. You're not doing those big, super heavy fruit berry bombs and ridiculously dessert style stuff. You're trying to keep it more like I said, that's the word. I don't know what it is. More like Viking traditional style. What would you call it?
To a degree, yeah. I've found that a lot of meads are like super, super sweet, which is great once in a while. But since I have such a variety, I like them being more tempered down, semi-sweet, semi-dry kind of range. Mm-hmm.
Oh, right on. I like to try everything and definitely get a variety of what's available out there. So, like this first one I got here is the Svass. So, give us a little background on this bad boy right here.
So the Svass mead and its twin mead, the Phoenix Rising, we're both brewed at the same time. Which I think you got that one as well, right?
Yeah, boom.
Yep. The Svass mead is a sweet traditional, has a blend of honey, so clover and orange blossom. And
Nice.
The batch was split when it was done fermenting, and I added fruit in the second split, and that became the Phoenix Rising, the other one that you have. I put that one together because I have people who like sweeter meads once in a while, and so that one's on the sweeter side of my scale. And it's so popular that you actually have one of the last bottles. I'm completely sold out here at the meadery. I have to brew some more. So
Yeah, I noticed that when I was looking online today, checking and seeing what was going on. And yeah, that one says it's straight up sold out, but that's good because that one donates to local charities, doesn't it?
the Phoenix Rising one, yeah.
Yeah. Because you guys were all struck by a fire back in like 2020, 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a fire in 2020 that ran through the area. About a little over 2,000 homes and businesses were burnt down, and both my house and my business were in the region where the fire was, and they both survived. So I figured I might as well help out as much as I can back into the community, and so I decided that batch would 100% of the profits would go into local charities for it.
Right on, yeah. I saw that it went.
Since I can switch the camera, let's see.
Yep.
That flat slab was a building, so
Whoa,
that's exactly how close it got to my business.
that is scary close.
Mm-hmm.
My God. But yeah, I saw that proceeds went to that, so I definitely knew I had to try the donate to charity bottle. The other ones I picked up was the blackberry one, which is one of your more popular, it seems, by how much press you had to give leading up to it. Don't worry, people, the blackberry's coming back. I promise. Please don't burn my, well, I guess that's kind of a bad saying, but please don't tear my place apart.
Yep, no pitchforks, please.
Yeah, no pitchforks. And then the last one I got was the Refreshing Session. This is actually the one I'm going to try first because I'm dying to try a nice light lemon lime mead. I've never had one, and this seems like a perfect one to kick it off with.
And it's designed to be a spring summer mead anyway, so we're kind of getting into that season.
Oh, it definitely is here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's like 92 degrees today. So now this one's going to be lightly carbonated?
Yep. It's the only carbonated one I have currently, but I'm working on a new one. It will be a blueberry version of that. So.
Ooh, like a blueberry lemonade seltzer spritzer type thing.
Lightly carbonated, 6% like that one is, but blueberry instead of the lemon lime. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That nice head on there. Now, how long have you been making mead?
Well, the business has been open since 2019, but I've been doing home brewing for roughly 3 years prior to that. So.
Woo! Nice. So you've been brewing altogether for about 5 or 6 years then? Between 5 and 6 years? And how'd you get into making mead? Was it like a passion that you just kind of stumbled upon on your own? You find out at a Ren Fair from a friend?
Kind of a mix on that. I used to live up in Washington, and there are some really good meaderies there, and mostly in California, or not California, in Canada, where I would travel a lot. And their style of mead is a lot more like the style that I brew, where it's not super sweet, more like a sweetish, dry level. So when I moved down here into Oregon, I couldn't easily get the types of mead that I liked. So I decided, well, I have a friend who brews beer and a friend who brews wine. I'll fill in that little triangle and make mead. They can help me out, and I can start making the stuff that I actually enjoy drinking instead of having to ship it all the time, because that gets a little expensive. So.
No kidding. Yeah, I can relate to that shipping mead being expensive business. Who was it up in Washington? What's that?
Shipping wine in general is crazy.
Oh yeah. Just especially anymore, shipping's just getting to be more and more expensive. But who's those meaderies that you were visiting up in Washington State? Give them a little shout out.
God, I wish I remember the names of them. Some of them aren't even in business anymore. One was actually located in Portland, Oregon, called Fringe.
Okay.
And they were one of my favorite meaderies, actually. And they unfortunately closed down 2019, I think was their last year.
That
But
sucks.
hopefully they plan on opening up again in the future because the owner was an awesome guy. I met him a few times. So.
Nice. So do you use real lemons and limes in this, or extracts, or juice, or all of the above, or?
Real lemons and limes. I actually bought pounds of the stuff, and my partner split them, and I put them through a squeezer right before adding it in. So.
That must have taken a little bit of time.
Oh yeah. That's why that bottle has a bit of sediment at the bottom. It's actual oils from the lemons and limes that we squeezed in and added in.
I like that. It's very mild on the, like it has like a pretty strong aromatic on the nose, really, like while you're taking a sip. I don't know, but what kind of yeast did you use?
That one was a champagne yeast.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's got get that brightness from the carbonation, but it has a true lemon and lime characteristic to it. It doesn't taste like that essential oil type of heavy taste. It doesn't taste like bitter, like it's got too much pith in it or anything. It's very, very pleasant. I like it a lot. I could definitely see crushing a couple of these. Do you offer them in any other size besides? You offer them in 750 bottles as well. This is a 375.
Yeah, that one I only bottled in the small bottles because when I first bottled it, I thought, well, I could do the big ones, but partway through drinking it, it might go flat and then it won't be the same. That was a mistake. I've had a lot of people request the larger bottles. So future session ones will be in both sizes.
Gotcha. Carlos over at Texas Longhouse Mead wants to know if you added in fermentation or post-fermentation.
Post-fermentation. All of my meads that have fruit or anything added is after the fermentation is complete. I have found when I homebrew that when I do it during primary or secondary fermentation, it could potentially eat some of the flavoring that I want to get. And so I have better results adding it afterwards.
Gotcha. I know some cats out there do both. They put it in during primary and then load a bunch of it in post-fermentation as well.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely certain flavor profiles you get by doing it that way for sure. So.
Yeah. Whatever that aroma must have been something in my room or something, because there's nothing funky in there now. I mean, that's beautiful. It's not offensive. It's not assaulting. And then I like the balance on it too, for being a lemon lime mead and being carbonated. It has a really strong chance to be like very offensive on the palate, be super astringent or something, but it's not. I don't get like any burning sensation. It's very well balanced, just the right amount of sweetness. Now I personally, just a pinch more sweetness, but I got a gnarly sweet tooth, so that's just my personal style.
Yeah.
But this is absolutely wonderful, just how it is. Do you consider getting I mean, I know money aside and everything, but a canning line, is that something in the future for Steamworks?
I don't know if I'm ever going to do canning. I've considered it a few years ago when I decided to upgrade to do the capping system instead of doing corks. And I've always found that, and I think it's all mental, but I've always found that like canned meats have a slight taste to it that's like a little odd, like a little metallic-y taste. And I think it's completely in the head kind of thing. It's not like a real like flavor that imparts it. So I decided I'll just do glass for all of it. So.
Hey man, I like it. I think it has a neat little quirk to your product. So never gonna see, or not never, but probably not gonna see it in cans. But it pours really well out of the 375 bottle, or 375 bottle, maybe even a bigger bottle. I'm not sure you need anything bigger than this. This is just absolutely wonderful.
It's definitely a me-sized bottle.
Yeah. Now, there you have a tasting room and everything hooked up to your meadery, and you guys do draft pours of all or most of your flavors, I'm assuming.
Yeah, currently we have a 4-tap system. I actually plan to expand that in the next year or so. But everything that's not on tap, I have in bottles for pours as well.
Nice.
Actually, I usually put anything that I'm like out of bottles on tap so that people can do growler fills from it. So
Oh, that's very cool. Do you guys do like mead cocktails or anything like that?
not here. Well, actually, we do have a pear cider that's made by a local heritage cider company, and I do like sizers, which there is a true sizer on how you can brew it, but I do mine's with the pear cider and any of the meats that I have available, and that's kind of a fun combo. Being
Okay.
a winery license, I can only do so many different types of cocktail type stuff. But at home, I've done a little bit more. So
Oh yeah, like mead cocktails. I guess that's like the new buzz term or trend or whatever it's supposed to be called. But yeah, I just like the idea of using mead to mix with different other like simple spirits or in replace of hard spirits and whatnot. But because I think this would lend itself really well to some to some cocktailing up and stuff. This is
yeah,
absolutely
yeah. I've had some of my regulars say that it reminds them of kind of like a margarita or something like that. So mix that
exactly
with a
that's
little bit of tequila, and you're good to go.
100%. That thing is that's perfect for something like that. And it's not full of junk. It's a nice clean base and everything like that. Definitely on board with that. All right, so I definitely at least want to try one more of the meads. So let's go with a dealer's choice here. We got the Blackberry, we got the Phoenix Rising, and we've got the Svas. I hope I'm coming close to pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, you are. Since you did the driest one I have first, how about we do the sweetest one and you get the full spectrum, so the Svas mead.
Svas. All right, now I'm super excited to try this one, and I have to say that unfortunately in my shuffling bottles around, I accidentally knocked over the little vial and spilled about 50% of the goodie here. But so anybody who didn't see it, this is a bottle of food grade edible glitter that comes with certain flavors of the meat. I know this one, and then like the mana potion, and I think there was one other one that I saw as well. But so you add that in there. Now I see a video that you posted. You added it both ways, into the glass directly and then into the bottle. What are you suggesting?
You can add it right into the bottle, because then you can shake it around and get it fun. So this is the mana potion. I no longer have that available, but I'm rebrewing that this summer. So
The mana potion.
mm-hmm. And then you can just cap that up and give it a good shake. It's fun. I actually plan to do the next edible glitter style mead with it in the bottle to begin with.
In the bottle when you, it'll be in the bottle already when it hits the bottling machine.
Yeah, when I bottle it, I'll actually be adding the glitter into it instead of having a little one on the side.
Now that's awesome. So it'll be sitting down like almost like sediment at the bottom. You just give it a quick little, and there you go.
Just got to figure out some nice way of letting people know to shake the bottle.
Right, yeah, pre-shake.
Mm-hmm.
Gently roll. Now, what gave you the idea of putting the edible glitter in there? I've seen lots of different gimmicks. Now, I haven't been in the mead world, but for a couple years, and I haven't seen this uniqueness used anywhere else. Maybe one other time, but this is something really cool. Let's spawn that idea.
I was actually looking for a gin for my partner because it's one of their favorites to like use in mixed drinks and stuff like that. And I was trying to find something unique, like a rare brand or something that's like, not really available, just like at a local corner store type thing. And I saw one that had edible glitter already in the bottle. I'm like, I'm sure I could do that with my mead. And that's where the original one, the mana potion, came from. So
Darth Maul never looked so fabulous. Awesome. That's really cool. So do you travel a lot?
I used to. Now that I run this place, it's a little bit more limited, but
certainly. But that's cool. You're picking up different tricks and techniques and tips and stuff while you're out doing that. I saw you came down to Arizona. Do you remember you visit a Superstition? I
did.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like their little tasting room. It's kind of a cool area. So.
Yeah, they got that neat little spot in downtown Prescott. They have to go down into their cellar and all that stuff. Yeah, they got quite the quite the visual appeal there.
Yeah, it was fun when I went there the first time. I was like, is this really where the tasting room is? Like, oh, it's through the little gifty shoppy looking area and just down the stairs. Yeah, it's kind of fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, I go down there once in a while because I have family who lives in Arizona. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where I'm at, man. Next time you're in town, we'll have to link up and have a mead.
Mhm.
All right, so this is clover and orange blossom honey,
Mhm.
and it's just a straight sweet traditional.
Yep.
Now, what makes you pick your honey varietals that you do? Is it because they're what you can get there from your local bees, or do you seek them out specifically from um, certain sources? Or,
Um, it kind of depends on what flavor profile I'm going for. Like orange blossom isn't local here. I have to buy that from like Florida or California. But anything like clover or like the blackberry one that you have has blackberry honey in it. Things like that I try and buy local because, well, one, I like supporting local as much as possible because so many people support my business around this area. It's kind of a give and take. But also, it's kind of nice having those flavor profiles be like, oh, yeah, this is honey from, 20 miles that way. So kind of get that connection.
No, I definitely dig that. You actually even have one of your meads is called Jackson Wild. That's specifically from like a certain wildflower area there, isn't there?
Yeah, the Wild Jackson is from Siskiyou Valley. And that one's kind of interesting because it has a bit of a smoky aftertaste, which was not intended. But it came because the honey was collected where there was wildfires. So the wildfires imparted that smokiness into the honey, and that came into the mead. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, this has a very true, like orange blossom type of aroma to it. That's one of the most had mead honeys that, for some reason, a lot of people work with it. I don't know. It's probably most readily available, but as a specific aromatic, I picked that up in here. I definitely get the clover and the orange blossom sweetness on there, but again, it's not overpowering for being sweet. It's not cloying. It's not syrupy. It actually even has a tiny bit of tannic presence at the end and dries off a little bit there too. Nice acidic balance. I don't necessarily get any full legs on there, but that's probably because the glitter's in there.
Yeah, and it's a low ABV, so.
Yeah, exactly too. Yeah, it's only 10%.
Yeah, I believe that one was 10%. So.
Yeah, but no, I really like the flavor on that. Really enjoy that. That's again very refreshing compared to some of the more full-bodied, heavier. This is very drinkable. You can sit there and drink, this whole bite, which is dangerous. You can sit there and not even realize, oh, hey, I think I just drank 2 bottles of this, and now I can't drive.
Yep. I did see a question in the chat about events.
I was just going to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, I will be doing the Pear Blossom Festival next Friday and Saturday, which is located here in Medford.
It's nice. Pear Blossom, you'd be going on there. And then you were just at the cheese festival, correct?
Yeah, last weekend was the Oregon Cheese Festival, and a few weeks prior to that, I was at the Chocolate Festival. So now that festivals are finally a thing in the area, I'm trying to get into as many as I can.
No, I think that's really cool. That's one thing that I don't see, again, a lot of other meaderies doing so much is the branch out collaborations at those types of festivals. I mean, people do them here and there, but I mean, you look like like you just said, I'm specifically trying to line these up. That's what I want to do. And that's such a unique, let's say unique, but that's such a cool way of approaching the business because now you're supporting your business by supporting other businesses, but you're also exposing people to mead who might not otherwise be exposed to it, who aren't going to necessarily come to a mead festival or even, let's say, like just a craft brew festival in general.
And I love it when I'm at a festival and there's another meadery there. I always love tossing people who visit my booth to try theirs because every meadery has vastly different styles of brewing and flavoring and stuff like that. So letting people who had no mead experience at all or even very little to experience a wider variety of it is always a good thing.
I agree 100% there. This is super, super really mellow and full flavored and not heavy. I'm a big fan of your stuff there, my man, Peter. So what do you guys have in the works? What's coming down the pipeline right now? What's in the brew tanks?
So I have the ingredients and equipment that I need for my next batch on order, which will be that blueberry session.
Okay.
Then in the summer, I plan to rebrew my mana potion, which is a blueberry pear, the one with the kind of blue edible glitter. And I actually plan to do a potion trio. So I'll be doing mana potion, the blueberry pear, potion of rejuvenation, which will be a strawberry peach, and a potion of courage, which will be a mango pineapple. And all three of them will have edible glitter in it. And I'll even have a very small exclusive amount of like little potion bottle shaped bottles with it. So
little round globe bottles or something like that. Yes, that is so awesome. I was gonna say you've brewed a tropical one before. Is that going to be similar to your potion of courage? Going to be similar to that tropical flavor that you've brewed?
Yeah, same ingredients. The ABV will be less. So
okay. Do you specifically target for lower ABV stuff, or do you have do you try to hit across the board with a variety of products, or do you want to keep it all like under under 12% or under 10%?
I try and aim around 10 to 12% for most of mine. I find that that tends to do that sweet dryness that I kind of favor without too much like not really rebrewing, like adding stuff after the fact to try and get it to where I need it to be. The ones that I'm adding with glitter, I'm specifically doing at a lower ABV because being a winery, I have to follow all FDA approved ingredients and all that stuff. And edible glitter can't be included in the product if it's above 7%. But it can be if it's above 16%. So it's like this little bracket that you can't. So to work around that little annoyance, I'm specifically brewing at a slightly lower so I can add it at like 6.5% kind of a thing.
I gotcha. And even though there's no exceptions for whether you brew with it or it's added in after, if you have edible glitter in your product at all, it's got to be under 7% or over 16%. Wow. Yep. Okay. Man, the TTB and the government regulations, they pick up some funny places in the red fucking tape, man.
Yeah, my conspiracy theory on it is that there was some wealthy wine baron that didn't want glitter in wine and specifically made that little a specificness to it.
Oh, I could see that being a thing. Absolutely, 100%. People in power do weird things for weird reasons. I try not to think about it that way. But you got a way to do it. You're getting the edible glitter into the drinks for the people who didn't ask for it but wanted it, and then certainly for the people who are asking for it and want more of it. I think it's a unique concept. I'm glad I got to experience it at least once, and I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open for that potion trio. When should we be on the lookout for that? Is that like later in the year or like
I'm aiming for middle of summer. Okay. I am in the process of renewing my lease for the building that I'm in now, so it's very dependent on how that goes. Obviously, if I have to move, that's going to postpone everything, but I'm thinking everything will go smoothly. So
be on the lookout, everybody, by around Mead Day, potentially. See the Potion Trio here from Steamworks. Go follow them, subscribe to their pages and whatever, and you'll be on point with all that stuff when it comes out. So what's your favorite style of mead to make? You make mellow mellows. I see you got some metheglins on there. You got a chai tea one on there. You got some traditionals. You're hitting across the board. What's your favorite one to make?
My favorite one to make, I think, is my tea-based meads. The other ones are kind of fun because the variety of spices that you can put in is interesting. You can combine them in different ways, but also at least in this area, there isn't another meadery that does anything with tea. And so it's a very unique one. And I kind of like brewing it up. Also, it makes the whole meadery smell like like Christmas. So it's, there's that.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah, that chai tea one I saw. Now, where does that one fall on the sweetness spectrum? Is that on the sweeter side, or is that kind of on the semi-sweet?
That's more on the semi-sweet, drier side. Not as dry as that Refreshing Session, but probably a step or two above that. My tea-based ones are usually a little bit lower sugar contents, a lower ABV, and the spices themselves tend to dry it. So.
Okay. So now I just have that sweet one. Let's go. I'm gonna pour a little bit because you keep saying this was your driest one. This the Refreshing Session. I didn't even think that. Now, I guess that's it. Would you call this off dry, or would you say it's all the way dry? I mean, I don't know where I finished that, but it certainly doesn't have like an overly dry presence. I'm a big fan of this one.
Yeah, out of a full sweetness scale, I'd say it's an off dry, but it is the driest that I tend to go.
I got you. Okay, I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So you've been open for 3 years. Do you have like a bottle club or anything that's going on? Do you have like a membership subscription or founders club, something like that?
Not currently, but I have been looking into that. Actually, the last year I've been trying to figure out a good way to implement something like that. Very
cool. And what about distribution? Or do you sell at any local markets or bottle shops or tap rooms, or do you just pretty much focus on yourself?
Well, I do ship, as you saw, because you got the bottles, and I also sell through a lot of different stores in Oregon, like Market of Choice, Harry and David, and the Made in Oregon store are some of the larger ones that sell my bottles, but also different spirit shops and bottle shops around the area.
Like you said, Harry and David, you mean like the Harry and David?
Mm-hmm. Though I'm only located in their local grocery store, not through their online store. But yeah.
How big of tanks and fermenters did you start with?
So when I was home brewing, the largest one that I did was a 31 gallon, so 1 barrel. But here at the meadery, we use 7 barrel tanks. That one's technically a 10 barrel, but I only use that for a bright tank, mixing tank, and bottling tank.
And is this the same equipment that you started with when you first went commercial?
Yep. Yeah, I knew I wanted to get equipment that I could expand with. So while this specific building is too small to handle the max production those tanks can take, I knew that, 10 years down the road, when I want to expand and do double the production, all I need to do is move those tanks, and I don't have to buy new ones. So,
yeah, that's definitely a good way of going about it. You can, like Texas says, that's a smart call right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thinking, planning for the future.
Yeah, roll of the dice though. It could have gone the other, it could have gone worse. So,
hey man, then you didn't count on. I mean, because you opened in December of 2018, January of 2019, and then you have the whole year building up momentum and building up steam, as it were, and then boom, everything pulled out from underneath of you, and
yes.
That's rough. So what did you do to survive during the beginning of COVID? How did you pull it off? Being so young.
Being stubborn. So thankfully we never had to close down. Well, other than when the fires happened, I had to shut operations down during the time that happened. But it pushed me to move my business into directions that I was going to wait a while for, primarily things like online shipping. I had a very small presence of that, like my web store mostly just talked about my products, didn't really allow you to order the products. But now that I wasn't able to have people physically come in and taste, I'm like, okay, well, I need to move to an online presence. I need to do in-store pickups, set up outdoor seatings in the parking lot, knock on every grocery store in the area and say, hey, will you have this on your shelf? Because, limiting people into my area, if I can get it through 2 more locations, that's more presence. So that's the only thing that really kept it afloat for the last 2 years.
just old school pounding the pavement, you busting your
Mhm.
ass working.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. So are you the sole proprietor, owner, operator, mead maker, bartender, meat slinger, shipping, receiving, one man
Mhm.
operation?
Yep, I'm everything from the guy who keeps the floors clean to going to the festivals and hawking the wares there. So, yep.
Awesome. And what made you want to go start a one man operation meter? I don't know of any other, maybe one other operation I can think of that's a one man joint, but that's got to be a ton of freaking work, brother.
It is. Thankfully, I've got a lot of friends who help out. My partner helps me as well with festivals, or she much better with social media than I am. So I always go through her with, does this post sound nice? And things like that. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of work, but I would rather put in the effort and really actually see my dream come true more than working somewhere else. I wouldn't say I have a issue with bosses over me telling me what to do, but I definitely work a lot better when I set my own goals and try and accomplish them. So.
I can relate to that. I definitely know how that feels, brother. All right, let's go back to switch over to a little bit more technical questions here. So your yeast that you use, you're using dry, wet, you picking those up locally? Do you have them shipped in? What are we doing there?
I have them
One
shipped
thing for
in.
everything?
Mostly all I use is dry yeast currently. I've experimented with a few wet yeasts from, what was it, like White Labs and stuff like that. But I've been getting really good results with certain champagne and white wine dry yeast and a few exotic yeasts. I really want to try doing a wild yeast fermentation sometime, but it's one of those things where I've never done it. And so I'm kind of like, do I want to risk it and have it turn out bad? Kind of a thing. So, but
Right.
that's on the horizon for sure. Once I get comfortable enough to do it. So,
Now, have you ever done one on like when you were homebrewing on like a smaller scale?
not for a wild fermentation now, because
Okay.
for the first couple of years that I was home brewing, I was mostly just trying to replicate the style of mead that I really liked. So mostly just trying to like narrow it down to like, okay, this is what I like. Change this a little bit, see how it turns out, and not going super adventurous. And then a year prior to opening, it was mostly trying to work on consistency, which is extremely hard doing when you're doing a homebrew because you don't have climate control, you don't have ways of making sure that it's consistent in the the temperature, the brewing, like all that stuff. So,
Yeah, heating up your honey is significantly harder to do at home when you don't have, barrel heaters and
mhm.
giant industrial size, you know, furnace or not furnace, but like cooking pots and stuff like that. Man, I'll tell you what, heating up honey around the house is kind of a pain in the ass on the old
Yep.
stove. Definitely don't. I'm not gonna miss that if I ever go commercial.
Mhm.
So, what uh, who's your favorite current mead maker other than yourself, if you have one?
Hmm.
I know you said you'd been up to Washington and had sampled some other people's stuff while you were there. Some people up in Portland. Do you still follow other meaderies very much, or?
Not as much in the last couple of years. I've been so focused with the business. Um, whenever I travel, I always try and go to any meaderies that are in the area and pick up a few bottles and stuff like that. And I can't really think of any off the top of my head other than Ore and More that's still in operation. And they're the ones who are located up in Roseburg. So,
Man, that's so awesome that you can. That I don't know how to put it. All these meaderies that I talk to, as somebody who doesn't brew mead, I specifically seek out meaderies from all over the world, especially all over the country and everything, and see how people just get so focused in their one area and aren't aware of other people and all these other things is so like. And part of me is like astonished by it, but part of me thinks it's so like pure and innocent, and like it still like shows that the industry isn't tainted by itself. Everybody's just doing their own thing. Everybody's just being true to themselves and going that route. which is,
Mhm.
I think, awesome. Yeah, do you have any plans for any collaborations then with, either any local home brewers or any of your bottle shops or any distilleries or anything like that potentially?
Absolutely. There's a few different things that I absolutely want to do. I want to make a true sizer, which requires a lot of pressed juice, either apple, pear, or whatnot. I don't have the equipment for that. So I would either invest a lot in it, or there's some amazing cideries in this area and work with one of them. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to see if any of the ones nearby would be willing to share their equipment, tank, or use my tanks and do a true sizer, as well as a bragger. I would love to do a beer mead, but I can't because I'm not a brewery, I'm a winery.
Right, no
So
malt for you.
exactly. Another one that I really want to do is I have that Phoenix Rising that you have a bottle of. I actually brewed that once before, and my filter cracked, and yeast got into the final product and over fermented it. I still have like 70 gallons of that, and I can't sell it because it's too high carbonate, all these things. But I think it would be an amazing product to distill, turn into like a mead brandy type of thing. So that's something that I've been kind of storing for somebody nearby to do something with. So definitely want to like expand the styles that mead can be with the help of some of the local amazing brewers and distillers and stuff.
That's a way of turning an accident into a happy accident, man. You could end up with a really cool, unique product out of
Mhm.
that.
It's either that or turn it into vinegar, and I'd rather turn it into a liquor.
Yeah, definitely. What about any like barrel aged projects? Do you have any thoughts of doing something in, say, bourbon or gin barrel aged or something?
hmm I have some dark honey that I want to turn into a 6 month to 12-month aged mead and put that in some barrels during that time. But limited space, I need to figure out how I'm going to store it for so long. But that's definitely something I already have the honey for, and honey won't go bad. So once I have the use for it, it'll definitely happen.
Nice. So you now you just moved into this facility where you're at back at the beginning of the year. You have plenty of storage for all this stuff. I know you're talking about potentially outgrowing the spot where you're at currently, but I mean, you
Mhm.
just moved in there. You still got plenty of room. You're not going to be moving anytime soon.
Well, this place I moved in back in 2017.
Whoa.
And like I was mentioning, my lease is up in a couple months, and the property, like you saw with it was burned out. So
Right.
they sold the whole lot where all these businesses are. So I'm wanting to talk to the new owner for staying here for another 5 years, because while it
Yeah.
is small, it's someplace that people know where it is, and I can work with the space. Also, the place right next to me that we share a wall with is empty, so I'd love to rent that, put a door in, and then expand that way, so I don't actually have to move. So hopefully that can happen, and then I can add some more of those like the aged ones and things like that in.
Now, do you have like live events, or do you have the capability to even have live events at your tasting room, or is that something that you might have in the future? Like bands and music and outdoor seating and stuff like that.
Mhm. Currently, the tasting room is too small for that. I can only house about like 15 people.
Okay.
But I do events like I've done meat and cheese pairing events and things like that. So small little ones like that I can do, but I want to do a lot more, especially once maybe I get that space next to me and I can move some of the storage into that area and expand the tasting room a bit. Definitely.
Man, that's freaking rad. So you definitely got plans, and you're even you guys aren't even. I mean, you're like right off the freeway too. I mean, you can almost see the freeway exit from your
Mhm.
building. So yeah, getting in and out of there is super easy. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think you got a pretty decent location where you're at right there.
hmm it's a super small town. So, you got small town issues, but I think it's good. And especially now that COVID's starting to dwindle and people are getting out a little bit more, exploring new places is definitely high on the list of what people want to do right now. And seeing something so unique as this is one of the reasons why I don't want to move. So,
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like I said, you're right there off the freeway. I mean, you've got a fantastic location. I have my dad drives type tour buses for a living, and he's always up and down the I-5 corridor. So I made him promise, I was like, hey, next time you're in Medford, let me know so I can have him swing by Steamworks and pick up a couple bottles and sample some stuff while he's there. Um, so what do you think's the best mead that you've ever made while you've been in operation there? Your favorite, I say the best one. Let's put your favorite. I don't want you to pick your best children, but your favorite child.
I think that would be either the orange blossom or the mana potion. Not just because of how cool it was with the edible glitter, but the flavor of that one I really enjoyed, that blueberry pear. But the orange blossom's always been my favorite, so I will always make sure that I have bottles of that one.
Are there any flavors from your homebrew days that you want to bring over to commercial that you haven't because you either haven't been able to upscale it or can't get, a quantity of ingredients or for whatever reason?
I think the only one that I've made homebrew that I haven't done here at the meadery was a peach green tea, which was actually my first tea-based mead. So definitely want to bring that one in. And then one that was made, so I had this like get together with a whole bunch of friends. I made a 5-gallon batch of just clover mead, and I split them into 1-gallon jugs, and everybody got one, and they could put whatever they wanted in it to flavor it how they wanted to. And so the peach one that I was mentioning was my 1-gallon jug in the mix. The one that was made that I think would have been delicious, but the ingredient ratio was wrong, was a watermelon one. I really want to try and accomplish something like that, but watermelon is such a hard flavor to like get right without like using oils or something like that. And so that's another one I want to accomplish that I've done when with my friends, but I just don't know how I'm going to do it in a good way. So
yeah, definitely. I've had one watermelon. It was actually a watermelon basil mead, and it was pretty legit. I was impressed with it. But yeah, I've heard nothing but horror stories from lots of people about the difficulties of accomplishing a true, like, decent watermelon flavor. And that's I've just recently started homebrewing myself, and I'm absolutely terrified to start with any melons or anything like that. There's a reason why you don't see cantaloupe, honeydew, and watermelon meads out there. It's probably because they're really hard to translate the flavor profile.
Yeah, you always get a very musky taste to it, and it's really hard to avoid that, at least I found. So
yeah, there's got to be a way to do it, but yeah, so good luck to you on that watermelon front. I would love to see something like that as well. Do you ever do like bench trial nights or anything like that, where you have like people that are in the mead hall, here, try this, and we're potentially thinking about bringing this up to the big leagues?
Not since I started the business. I usually will make like I've got a few kegs of like basic base mead that I use when I prototype things. But usually it's just my friend group that I end up like saying, hey, try this. Does this taste like a good combination to like make in mass and that kind of thing? But I think it would be kind of a fun little thing to do a small, like just during this weekend, hey, I've got a gallon of this thing that I'm planning. I think that would be kind of fun to do, but haven't done it yet. So
yeah, I know where you're talking about putting in extra tap handles or another set of tap handles or something. You could always have one be like the off experimental. It's got always like a random 1 gallon on there or something funky and crazy, and always just getting feedback. The feedback handle.
Yep.
So you go to these festivals with the chocolate and the cheese and stuff, and you guys do serve, or you do serve a couple different little food boards and whatnot. Now, do you design your meat specifically to be paired with any of these things, or is it just kind of something that you do with just like your, general knowledge of food and meat pairing?
Just something that I kind of slap together. I make the meats that I want to make, and then I make the food work for it.
One thing I forgot to ask you since the very beginning, probably should have been right out the gate. Steamworks Mead, where's the name come from?
Well, I used to have another a meadery name, and I cannot remember what it is at this point anymore, because that was back in like 2016 was when I was looking at name ideas.
Okay.
But my mother mentioned that I like, she's like, well, you like steampunk stuff. Why don't you do something steampunk related? And Steamworks came from that idea. So hence why
Nice.
my aesthetic is kind of steampunky-esque to a degree in here. So
Yes, definitely. Like, and then I love the artwork and the cleanness on the labels and everything like that. I'm a huge fan of the, just the same label but like shaded differently and all that. It adds a very clean uniformness to it. Very cool. Dig that a lot.
definitely a
What kind of,
challenge when you try and get a yellow product to be different than another yellow product.
very
So
true. But I mean, I got 4 products here that have 4 very different hues to them. I mean,
those ones, yeah.
well, I mean, even when online, it looks like you got all your stuff at least varied, slightly enough to where it works. But yes, I definitely get you. If you had a bunch of different, yellow and gold and amber colored meads, it'd be like, okay, this is kind of, how am I supposed to tell somebody that's a blackberry mead when it looks like it's, straw colored?
Yeah.
Have a good night, Carlos. So yeah, we are coming up on the 7 o'clock hour.
Mhm.
If I get a couple, yeah, you got a couple more minutes. I got some rapid fire questions here I'd like to throw out at you and just get a
Yeah.
little, quick off the dome feedback.
Hmm.
All right. So what's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
Hit the snooze.
Hit the snooze. Ooh, hot or cold?
Mm. Hot.
Do you use your turn signal?
Always.
Cat person or dog person?
Cat. Though I do have a dog.
Uh, do you put pineapple on your pizza?
Sometimes.
Toilet paper over the front, over the back,
Over the front.
front. What's the first mead you ever got trashed on?
Mm. A raspberry mead.
Raspberry. Favorite Girl Scout cookie?
The coconut one. I can't remember the name right now.
Samoa's.
Yes.
Yeah. Burgers or pizza?
Burgers.
Favorite breakfast cereal?
Cinnamon toast.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Speed.
What's the worst job you ever had?
The worst job. Warehouse at Circuit City.
Ooh, yeah. Do you cook?
Yes. Not all the time, but I do.
Your favorite mead style to drink?
Traditionals.
Well, what was your first car?
A bright yellow Volkswagen Beetle. And I put stripes on the side.
What's your favorite, your best Halloween costume you ever did?
I have an Assassin's Creed outfit that I really like.
If you could travel anywhere in the world where you've never been, where would that be?
Italy. Or Japan.
Italy or Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite tavern game? Pool, darts, or shuffleboard?
Darts.
My name is Peter Paulsen, and I'm a mead maker, but if I wasn't, I would be a
Candy maker.
candy maker. So you have to elaborate on that one a little bit.
When I was a kid and they say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I want to make candy. Didn't matter if it was chocolate or hard candies, but yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that?
I've made chocolates at home before, but yeah, only when I was very young.
Oh man, that's so freaking cool. Mead maker, want to be candy maker, and fire survivor, community supporter. Anybody who hasn't already gone out, follow Steamworks Meadery over on Instagram, or here on Instagram, over on Facebook. Do you have a YouTube channel, or do you do Twitter?
No, just Facebook, Instagram currently.
There you go. Order up some stuff on Vino Shipper if you're in one of those states that does allow that. Unfortunately, there are those few standout holdouts that will not join the club or anything like that. But I highly suggest, from my personal taste so far tonight, definitely scope out a bottle of Spas if you're into the sweet meads. It's really cool with the edible glitter in there. Adds up a neat uniqueness to it. Now, if somebody's in the tasting room, can they get the edible glitter in their drink right there in their glass too? So you even got that on order over there too. And then definitely also the refreshing session if you're into something dry, lemon, lime, deliciousness, summer cooling. Even be good with like a nice lime wedge, maybe over some ice or something like that. Be kick-ass. So like I said, go follow Peter over there and Steamworks Meadery at all the social media pages. Go buy some mead from them. Support them cats out there. Thank you so much for being here, Peter, today. I appreciate it a lot. I've had an absolute blast talking to you.
Good. It was fun being invited, so thank you so much.
No, thank you for showing up, my man. Have a good evening, and I will talk to you the next time. Hopefully you'll come back in the future sometime, too.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Later on, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. That was my interview with Peter over there at Steamworks Meadery, Medford, Oregon. Go buy some mead for them. He does a nice, proper, sweet mead, nothing overly syrupy, nothing overly cloying or anything like that. Does a proper dry mead, something that's not going to be like bitter and astringent or anything like that. It's nice and proper, done up in the nice session and dry style. So scope out his stuff. Thank you all for being here. Again, TK and Drinks, Tuesday Night Live. What's the Story? Steamworks Meadery. Thank you. Have a good night. See you next time. Peace.